Hey, what's up, everybody? I just want to finish up on the whole WrestleMania main event picture. Just want to follow up on it because I kind of rushed it at the end of my last video. There's just a couple more things I want to say. I didn't get to talk about Undertaker. I don't know if Taker is coming back or not. I've heard that there's a chance that he might miss WrestleMania. I'm not really sure. I imagine he'll be back by WrestleMania. I mean, there's no chance that he's going to miss it. So I'm going to guarantee you that he'll be there. Um, yeah, I'm sure he'll possibly make an appearance at the Royal Rumble. I think something will definitely happen at the Rumble. I think the Rumble should answer a lot of questions. We'll probably get an idea what the final card is going to be for WrestleMania. By the time the Royal Rumble is over. But like so many people have said, if this is Undertaker's one of his last WrestleManias, you really need to have him in the ring with someone that has a legit chance of beating him. And it just if I just have a bad feeling they're going to go with Taker versus Wade Barrett. Um, as great as Wade Barrett is, I'm sure he's going to do a beautiful job of, selling himself and selling the fact that he has a legit chance of beating Taker at WrestleMania. I'm sure he'll do a great job on the mic. I expect nothing less of Wade Barrett, but it's just like I feel like we've seen this before. I really have. I really feel like this is something that a lot of people are just not going to buy into. Wade Barrett beating the Undertaker. Don't get me wrong. He's a great talent, but bottom line is, if you're going to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania, it's got to be done by the perfect guy. The guy has to be an awesome wrestler. He has to have the ability to lead the WWE into the future. Not just by his mic skills, not just with leadership ability, but you got to have the total package. And there just really isn't anyone on the roster right now. Daniel Bryan is one guy that I would love to see, defeat the Undertaker because I just think he's the total package. But do you really see them, pushing Daniel Bryan to that degree right now? Nah, I'm going to be real with you. There's no way that's going to happen. So I don't know. There's only two guys on the roster right now. I'm not even going to say Orton is a candidate. I don't think Orton has a shot. But there's only two guys that definitely, deserve to be in the ring with Undertaker at WrestleMania. They have a legit chance of winning, and that's John Cena, number one, and Triple H, number two. Now, this whole Cena Undertaker thing, I think a lot of people were kind of giving up on the fact that this is going to happen at WrestleMania, because if it was going to happen, you would think they would have started planting the seeds already. But Taker and Cena haven't really touched since 2003 when Cena was a heel. So I don't know. I'm thinking it probably won't happen. The Rumble should answer a lot of questions. Maybe they could do something in the Rumble with Cena and Taker, and then boom, Cena could just put all his attention into Taker. But I feel like Cena's been feuding with the Nexus and Punk over the last couple months. So Cena really needs to follow up on that and let Cena and Punk have their match at WrestleMania. I don't even care if it's been done on Raw. I still would love to see a great match with a great build up for John Cena and CM Punk. I think that would be awesome. But don't get me wrong, Cena versus Taker. I still think this is a huge possibility, and I still think it would be awesome. This could definitely create that big fight atmosphere of anything could happen. It seems like Vince is just on a mission to push Cena to the moon. It seems like Cena's getting bigger every year, and the only thing Cena has left to accomplish is to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. So I think this is still a huge possibility, without a doubt. So I mean, you could just imagine, Cena with the STFU in the middle of the ring and Taker with the possibility of tapping out. I mean, you could just imagine that arena going crazy. So, that's probably the best match that you could book Taker in right now. I'm not even going to talk about Brock Lesnar. That's too much of a fantasy. I don't know what kind of contract Lesnar has right now with the UFC. So I'm not even going to speculate on that. But whatever happened at the UFC show, it definitely looked like it was. Looked like they were building towards something there. So you can never say never. I feel like Vince is due to pull something out of his ass just to shock the wrestling world. I feel like something like that is going to happen eventually. But with Lesnar, just I don't know. I just can't buy it right now. So the other guy will be Triple H. I feel like Triple H and Taker. It's been done before. They've had a lot of matches in the past. A lot of them have really disappointed. It's not a great combination, though. Two guys really have to be at the top of their game. They really have to work together and focus to deliver a great match at this point. It'll be tough, for that match to deliver, anything near the level of Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. But, the bottom line is this could have a great story going into it. They could play off the fact that Triple H already lost to WrestleMania X7 and it burns him. it definitely burns a hole inside of him, you know, especially with the way that Shawn Michaels acted the last couple of years, is putting DX on the back burner and focusing all his attention on Undertaker. Maybe you could do some type of storyline where Triple H doesn't want that all to go to waste and he wants to finish off the job. Then maybe you could incorporate Shawn Michaels into the storyline with the whole Hall of Fame thing, and you know, Shawn asked Triple H for one more favor, and that favor is to beat Undertaker at WrestleMania. Maybe you could do something like that. But yeah, as far as Taker facing a Sheamus or a Wade Barrett or a Mark Henry or even Alberto Del Rio, I just can't buy into it. You know, at this point, you definitely need to have Taker face, you know, one of the biggest names in the business. You know, someone that really, really wants that victory, because they haven't really accomplished. That's pretty much the only thing they have left to accomplish, is to beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Those two guys are John Cena and Triple H, really. So yeah, speaking of Sheamus, still, you know, there's a lot of speculation that Triple H and Sheamus, you know, might have their match at the WrestleMania pay-per-view. But you know, I'm not a big fan of Sheamus. You know, he's one of the biggest reasons why I've kind of, you know, been kind of down on WWE over the last couple of years. I felt like his push was extremely forced. Just not a big fan of this guy, but you know, obviously, you know, you probably want to finish off this Sheamus and Triple H feud. I was thinking possibly at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. You could definitely do it there. You know, the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view had a really bad undercard, you know, so this would be a nice match to put on that show. You know, I don't think Triple H needs to jump right into the title scene right away. So I think just like JBL and Shawn Michaels did a couple years ago, they could finish their business at No Way Out or the Elimination Chamber or whatever it's called. So I could definitely see Triple H and Sheamus happening, not at WrestleMania, but at the Elimination Chamber. I think that's a big possibility. So that will free Triple H up for an even bigger matchup at WrestleMania. So, so what else to talk about? One more thing. I just want to defend my stance on The Miz versus Daniel Bryan versus John Morrison. I know a lot of people are saying it's too soon for Daniel Bryan, that, you know, this has no chance of happening. But bottom line is, I've said this before, I really feel like that the belts should not change at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I feel like you need to have two champions heading into WrestleMania. Not two dominant champions, but, you know, I just think it's a mistake to drop both belts right before, you know, WrestleMania every single year. It's kind of been a little bit annoying, and I feel like you need to have both Miz and Edge heading into WrestleMania as the champion. And I'm going to give The Miz credit. You know, I'm not a big fan of his in-ring work, but I'll give him credit, though. I feel like more than anyone else on the roster, he's really done a superb job of, you know, connecting with the fans and just being original. You know, he's one of the most original heels the WWE has had in a very, very long time. So I'm going to defend him as far as main eventing WrestleMania. It's a huge chance to just push somebody new, you know, into the title scene. Because, you know, the selling point for WrestleMania could be Undertaker and John Cena. You know, Cena could have his match with Punk. That could be a draw. And then Taker could have his match with Triple H. Those could be the drawing points. But then in the title matches, you could just have new guys in title matches. I would imagine either Alberto Del Rio in the SmackDown title scene, and then on the Raw title scene, you could have Miz, Daniel Bryan, and John Morrison. And you know, I know a lot of people will probably be thinking, you know, that triple threat match wouldn't be a big draw for WrestleMania. It's three guys that are pretty much unfamiliar faces. But you know, they could do a great job of building this match up. You know, this match could have great build up to it. You know, the wild card in this whole situation is Michael Cole. You know, Michael Cole has done a beautiful job this year as a heel. And you know, since this is WrestleMania, the biggest pay-per-view of the year, why not just take advantage of Michael Cole, incorporate him into the storyline with The Miz and Daniel Bryan? I feel like, you know, a lot could be done there. You know, the history is definitely there. And you know, John Morrison as well. He's another guy that is just ready to break out and become a huge name as well. So I think this is definitely the chance to do it. Now, you know, I don't understand why some people just are so down on Daniel Bryan. You know, if you could push Sheamus, if you could push Wade Barrett, you could push all these other guys that really don't have half the wrestling ability that, you know, Daniel Bryan does. I mean, what's the problem? I mean, the guy is almost 30 years old. It's not like he's a young guy anymore. You know, I'm pretty sure, I know everyone isn't aware of his background. I know a lot of people are kind of unfamiliar with him, but I just think, you know, his talking will speak in the ring. You know, the WWE needs, you know, a Chris Benoit, a Kurt Angle, you know, that type of wrestler. You know, they need to go back to wrestling. The pay-per-view buy rates are down. They need to start delivering great matches again. Matches that people want to see. There's rumors. I heard rumors that Vince McMahon has taken notice of ROH and the sudden popularity of Ring of Honor to a degree on the internet, and he's very, very curious. I've heard rumors about that, and what better way to capitalize on that than to put the Babe Ruth of Ring of Honor into that main event? So now you could have Ring of Honor fans, diehard fans, ordering WWE pay-per-views. Pay-per-view buys have been extremely poor. That's what I've been hearing over the last year. So what better way to fix that problem than to push a guy like Daniel Bryan and push a guy like John Morrison as well, a guy that the Ring of Honor audience respects as well. And at the same time, you have The Miz, a very, very charismatic original champion. So I think it makes for a nice combination. So I still think we'll see CM Punk versus John Cena at WrestleMania. There's a chance that maybe Triple H might feud with the Nexus heading into WrestleMania. I've heard the house shows are being advertised as John Cena and Triple H teaming up to take on the Nexus in handicap matches. Those are kind of the matches that are being announced for several house shows coming up. So I don't know. So that could be a possibility. But I think Triple H and Taker, it seems like that might be the logical thing to do at this point. And I still feel like Daniel Bryan versus Miz versus Morrison, the triple threat match, I think that's definitely the way to go as well. So, but we'll see what happens. So that's my full thoughts on the main event of WrestleMania. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think. All right, take it easy.